SportsCenter.
Who saw this one coming? Mike Shanahan fired in Denver. How this one move could shake up the rest of the coaching carousel. Huge choice Peyton Manning made during the season that could have shelved his season, and Joe Pa on how he'd done coaching elsewhere.
I knew nobody was immortal, but somehow I thought I was exception.
How's your bowl mania? A fourth quarter explosion leaves Nevada feeling blue, plus one of the most exciting plays you've seen. And who won't watch this? LeBron and Dwayne Wade. See if Flash ruined it for the birthday boy. SportsCenter, right now.
What's good, and welcome to SportsCenter with Neil Everett. I'm Scott Van Pelt. After Monday's carnage in the NFL, the big question was, who's next? Shanahan in Denver was not the answer.
Yeah, we had a lot of guys on the list. Denver's Mike Shanahan never came up, but he is out. After 14 seasons with the Broncos, the final game of the season appears to be the final nail in his proverbial coffin. Denver waxed by San Diego, kicked out of the playoffs. Broncos, the first team since divisional play began in 1967 to blow a 3-game lead with 3 games left. Rocky Mountain News reporting Shanahan refused to fire his defensive coordinator, and that may have led to his dismissal. Here's what the owner, Pat Bowlen, says. After giving this careful consideration, I have concluded that a change in our football operations is in the best interest of the Denver Broncos. This is certainly a difficult decision, but one that I feel must be made and which will ultimately be in the best interest of all concerned. I appreciate the 21 years that Mike Shanahan has given to the organization as an assistant and head coach and the 2 Super Bowl wins in that time. His contributions hold a special place in Broncos history. Mike Shanahan in his 3rd season as Denver's head coach. The Broncos went 12-4. They go on to win Super Bowl 32 against the Packers. The Broncos were a 7-9 team the year before he took over. They didn't have a losing season in any of his first 4 years. Things got even better in Shanahan's next season, 13-3 overall. Repeat Super Bowl champions. This time they beat the Falcons. In his first 4 seasons with Denver, Shanahan goes 47-17, 2 Super Bowl rings. Not bad. After that second Super Bowl, though, John Elway said he was done. Since then, the Broncos have reached the playoffs 4 times, won 1 game. Overall, Denver going 91-69 in the 10 seasons since Elway's retirement, just 24-24 in the last 3 seasons. And after a very promising start to this season, Denver loses 7 of its last 11, including the final 3, misses the playoffs completely. With more on Mike Shanahan, here's John Anderson.
We are fortunate enough here at ESPN to have a former Mike Shanahan player and Denver resident on our staff, Mark Schler, joining us from his home. And Mark, if you could describe your initial reaction when you found out about the firing.
Well, I mean, I was shocked, John. And you look at this organization right now, 24-24 over the last 3 years. That's a picture of mediocrity. But for me, I thought there would be a sacrificial lamb, whether that was a defensive coordinator or whether that was some of the power stripped from Mike Shanahan, or a legitimate and empowered general manager came in and started running the football operations. But I certainly did not expect Mike Shanahan to be that sacrificial lamb.
So we go from 2 Super Bowls and what appeared to be a lifetime gig to 3 seasons out of the playoffs and out of a job. What happened?
Well, I mean, I think you look at what's gone down in the last year in the National Football League, where you had these dramatic turnarounds. A 1-15 Miami Dolphin team hires Bill Parcells and Tony Sparano, and the next thing you know, they're an 11-5 playoff team. And the Atlanta Falcons, they do the exact same thing. They basically gut the organization. They hire and empower a general manager, a guy in charge of football who appoints a coach that has the same philosophical beliefs, and they go about building a team the correct way. And I think Pat Bowlen saw those things happen and said, you know, as long as Mike Shanahan has complete and total autonomy of this organization, I'm never going to get that. And he coveted that, and I think that's why ultimately this decision was made.
One would imagine, though, Shanahan wouldn't have any trouble finding work. But how quickly do you think he tries to find another job? I mean, he's not just been working for this franchise for 14 years. He's been presiding over it. And can he just turn it off and go, okay, tomorrow I'm X, and change his colors?
Absolutely. Listen, I know several things about Mike Shanahan. One, he's one of the most competitive guys I've ever been around. And this, to him, will be a chip that will forever ride on his shoulder, and he will go out to prove that he is still a top-flight top-level coach in this league. The other thing is, I've talked to him several different occasions. He loves the grind. He's told me flat out, I love the grind of coaching in the NFL. That's what I am. That's what I do. He's going to go out there. He'll find a job in the next 2 days. He'll be coaching somebody's franchise. And when all the other things are stripped from him and he can just focus on the coaching, there's not many that are better than Mike Shanahan at coaching a team. Listen, I was around him for a number of years, 6 years. I played underneath him, 2 world championships. He's a great, great coach.
Mark Schlereth, we'll see you back here in Connecticut soon for playoff football.
Chris Mortensen joins us now. Mike Shanahan leaves some considerable footprints in the mile-high snow. Mort, in what direction are the Broncos likely to turn in trying to fill those shoes?
Well, listen, Pat Bowlen's going to speak tomorrow. He's the owner of the Broncos, and what we want to know is he going to follow the same model in which the coach has all the power? We doubt that. You would think he's going to have a model in which he hires a general manager and then proceeds hiring a coach, but we don't know. And there is Scott Pioli in play here, the New England Patriots Vice President of Personnel, who's interviewing for the Browns general manager's job on Wednesday. Maybe this gets his attention. Denver and Pat Bowlen as owner would be very attractive to anybody.
Where might Shanahan be interested in going with this unexpected free agency, so to speak?
You know, 3 or 4 weeks ago, I called Coach Shanahan, and I just said, Mike, I said, you know, I'm just kind of lining up my, getting my ducks in a row here. I says, at the end of this year, I said, do you still have the energy to keep on coaching? He goes, oh, yeah. He goes, hey, we just started 8 rookies. I forgot against who. I got a quarterback who, you know, in another year should be ready to go to a Super Bowl. And, you know, he sounded very energized. And certainly the last month took something out of him. But I think he would like to coach again. And when you have an action like this, a coach like Mike Shanahan getting fired, and if he still wants to coach again, and oh, by the way, he won't cost a lot of money because Pat Bowlen owes him $20 million over the next 3 years, it means that somebody else's coach might get fired this week.
Well, that's the last direction I wanted to go with you, Morton. To me, that's the most fascinating part here of the equation. You've got teams like the Cowboys and the Redskins who said they were set at head coach, but you know both owners, they've got money and they like attention. Might those teams revisit now that a guy like Shanahan's out there and available?
Well, as I said, Jerry Jones is not going to go out and get a high-priced coach. I talked to him about this a week ago, and he specifically said, hey, you go do the research on these high-priced coaches who've won a Super Bowl before, and then you go give them all that money, and they don't win a Super Bowl again. He goes, sure, Bill Parcells went to a Super Bowl, but he didn't win it again after he left the Giants. And Mike Holmgren, okay, he went to a Super Bowl in Seattle, but he didn't win it. So you're really not going to get your bang for the buck, so to speak. But here again, you don't have to pay Mike Shanahan all that money, and we know that Jerry Jones has a good relationship with Mike Shanahan. Heck, they work against each other the last 2 training camps the Broncos and Cowboys have. And oh, by the way, Mike Shanahan coveted Tony Romo as a undrafted free agent. In fact, the Broncos offered him more money than anybody, including the Cowboys, to sign, but he chose to sign with the Cowboys. But, you know, we have to take Jerry Jones at his word for now that he's not going to fire him. I can't speak about the Redskins. They've been pretty adamant that Zorn is safe.
Last very quick thought, is this one of those deals where Shanahan will be out of work for as long as he chooses to be, meaning perhaps as short as maybe a week or 2?
I believe that's true. And I have not spoken to Mike, but I believe that if Mike wants to coach, he'll have a job. Or he can take a year off and he'll have a job next year. There's no question about it. His reputation, regardless of anything that's happened, is pretty much intact, I think, as an outstanding coach and probably a Hall of Fame coach.
Well, a quiet day got busy for you late, Mort. We appreciate the time as always.
Breakdown, brought to you by McDonald's.
Pacific Light Holiday Bowl, you just watched it here on ESPN. Oklahoma State and Oregon, both 9-3. Cowboy coach Mike Gundy going to become the first person to play and coach in this game. He led Oak State to a win over Wyoming here in 1988.
Barry Sanders led him over.
Yeah, Sanders was the offensive MVP. He had 5 touchdowns in that game. But Gundy makes the Holiday Bowl Hall of Fame. He went 20-24, 315 yards, and they beat Wyoming 62-14. They figured to score about 62 points in this. Oklahoma State 8th in the FBS Division I at 41.6, and Oregon at 41.9. So you figured about 100 total, and you figured about wrong. Oklahoma State up 3-0. This caps a 99-yard drive. Zach Robinson to Des Bryant. It was 10-0, and then Jeremiah Johnson. His name was Jeremiah Johnson, and they say he wanted to be a mountain man. Remember, he ran for 79 yards and 83-yard runs against Oregon State in the Civil War. Here he goes 76 yards, the longest run in Holiday Bowl history, and it's 10-7. Oregon would trail 17-7 at that. So you only have 24 points at the first half. You think, wow, they're going to score a lot of points in the second half. Jeremiah Masoli, watch, boom, running right over Quentin Morey. The read option down there, 41-yard score. Oregon up 21-17. Mike Bellotti said they recruited this kid because of the way he could pass the football. Didn't realize what a good runner he was going to be. Oklahoma State going to answer. 3rd and 7, and Robinson saying, hey, I can run a little bit too, but Robinson took a hit in this game that may have left him a little woozy, and he was not as sharp in the second half as he was in the first. Kendall Hunter up the middle, and the Cowboys back on top, 24-21. Oregon's turn. Masoli, right side. Oregon back up 28-24. Masoli with 3 rushing touchdowns. 4th quarter. It's Oklahoma State again. Another OSU. Oregon's last game against OSU. Oregon State here against Oklahoma State, and it's Bryant. But he goes down after this play, and he's hurting. 13 catches, 167 yards, Holiday Bowl record. There will be no catches after this, and you saw it right there. He was beat up in the first half, and that about knocked him out of the second half. Next play, Coach Gundy, deep into the playbook. Robinson, lateral. Back to Robinson. Down to the 16-yard line, a 19-yard gain. Looks like something that you might see out of the Oregon playbook. And later in that drive, Robinson, he's a sneaker. Oklahoma State back up 31-28. Here comes Mike Bellotti's club. Masoli going left side to Jason Williams. End zone touchdown. Quack attack. 35-31, and they're getting ready to celebrate at Rennie's if Oregon can score here. But LeGarrette Blount, and this was 4 downs they had from up close, couldn't get it done. That Cowboy defense is pumped up, but Oregon's defense stops them. And then Blount saw this guy in person, and both Scott and I said, boy, he kind of looks like a young Brandon Jacobs. And that's all about desire, those final 10 yards right there. And Oregon, ineffective in the first half, blows up in the second half and wins the Holiday Bowl 42-31.
Star power on South Beach. LeBron James celebrating his 24th birthday. Big birthday day.
Mackenzie Clapp, her 12th.
Yeah, Mackenzie, she's half as old as LeBron. On LeBron's 17th birthday, he scored 39 in high school, but they lost. When he was 19, he scored 22 for the Cavs, but they lost. On his 22nd birthday, he scored 33 for the Cavs, but they lost. There's a trend here. LeBron here, bucket +1 early on. And then nice defense here, and Dwayne Wade for all the ladies. One more look. It's business time. Second quarter, the Heat up 14, more D. Heat double-team James, forcing the bad pass. LeBron looked a little sluggish. 14 points, 10 of them from the free throw line in the first half. They were down 16, maybe a little shore club for a pre-birthday party night. Who's to say? You never know. Third quarter, Heat up 10. James on the break. Has it blocked by Dwayne Wade. Refs call the ball out on James. He reacts, gets a technical. The guys in stripes don't care that it's his birthday. Great defense, and it's off Wade. Then who did it bounce off? Either way, it's a great play by Flash. Third quarter, Delonte West to LeBron, kiss off the window. And then it's a 12-point deficit. And James, Daquan Cook, get off me. And woohoo to the rack. Sometimes he just looks like the only grown man playing among infants. Another bucket for James, trying to force the comeback here. The dribble drive, taking the whole Heat squad to the rim. And now it's a 4-point game. LeBron in the corner, in front of the Heat bench. Somebody better check me. It's a 1-point game. But now fourth quarter. Sean Marion, baseline for the Jam. It's a 5-point lead. And LeBron goes for 38 in the game. But Wade goes for 21. He throws that one up to Sean Marion for the fancy finish. And the Heat get the 9-point win. The Olympians with a little love when it's over. 17 times these two have met. D-Wade a 9-8 advantage over LeBron. LeBron still has slight edges over Wade when it comes to scoring and assists, and about level when it comes to rebounding. But this has been a fun battle, and if you want to know the next time you can check it out, you'll have to circle your calendars and be patient. They don't meet again until March 2nd.
Late news Tuesday that could affect Brett Favre's future, but first we're going to talk about Shaq and Steve Nash's future. And here's the news I'm talking about. Guess who has turned down the chance to replace Eric Mangini in New York? Bartender. How about a roadie? Humanitarian ball. Maryland, Nevada, we could use 2 right now.
Trained by the CIA, the FBI is hunting him down.
He's gone over to the other side.
The only person he can trust
Keep him in your sight.
is himself.
If you don't succeed, we may not get another chance.
Trainer, now on DVD and Blu-ray High Def.
The principles of Threeconomics. Supply.
Can I make double stack?
Demand.
Wendy's Threeconomics, featuring the double stack, one of 3 way better sandwiches for 99 cents each.
It's way better than fast food. It's Wendy's.
A past revealed.
You would have had a twin brother, but he died when you were both in the womb.
A doorway opened.
He's trying to use you to enter our world.
On January 9th, evil will be born. The Unborn, rated PG-13.
Announcing Mazdanomics. In times like these, you need a solution like this. With Mazdanomics, you save big on a decked-out Mazda 3 that gets 32 mpg and has more interior room and standard horsepower than Civic or Corolla. With Mazdanomics, you cash in big. Hurry in to lease the Mazda 3i Sport for $159 a month for 36 months with $27.54 due at lease signing.
Nostradamus 2012, Sunday, January 4th at 9, only on History.
Hi, it's pretty easy to see what draws me to Esurance. With my family, a job, and a pretty long commute, it's hard to find time to take care of things like auto insurance.
Let alone how much it can cost.
I chose Esurance because they save me money in no time.
With quote-by-print convenience, you can start saving in minutes.
And with hassle-free automatic payments, that's one less bill that piles up.
Get your fast free quote today.
And get animated about your auto insurance with Esurance.
SportsCenter, brought to you by Wendy's. It's way better than fast food. It's Wendy's.
Well, Bill Cowher Tuesday night with his second thanks but no thanks turns down a chance to have serious talks with the Jets about their head coaching vacancy. That's one day after telling the Browns, don't bother me.
We are going to bother Chris Mortensen again. Mort?
If anything, it was a necessary exercise for the Jets to reach out to Bill Cowher, and through his